Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Hall of Fame Challenge. My name is Casey Sports. And when we last left off, we had just finished the second season with Cardiff Met Uni, and I wasn't sure what we were going to do next. Well, we're in the 17th of August 2025. Have we stayed within the realms of Wales? Have we travelled elsewhere? And if we stayed in Wales, are we even still with Cardiff Met Uni? Let's find out together. And there you can see, it's the biggest spoiler. They've changed this, and apparently 1 day, 7 hours, basically 1 day and 8 hours is mildly addicted in the world of FM. It used to be like a couple of hours and you were turning your boxes inside out. We are with a brand new team, KVK Tienen, over in Belgium. Now, why are we here? What's it looking like here? And who are the players? Who are these new people? We have left Cardiff Met Uni, and to be honest, we left them pretty quickly after the end of the last episode. And see, we left all the way back on the 9th of the 5th, 2025. After 1 year and 303 days, we've been replaced by David Horseman, formerly of Southampton, as a coach and a under-21s and under-23s manager. An actually very smart acquisition by Cardiff Met Uni, if I'm being honest. Chris Venables also has gone off to get his own job, so already we're starting to see the story of Cosley. He's already starting to get a couple proteges under his belt. Of course, we won 37 games our time there, 12 games drawn, 32 games lost. We would score, well, I don't know if it's still saved, but we scored something like 147 goals, conceded 146, so we had a positive goal difference, a positive games won to games lost ratio, and of course, the Nathaniel MG Cup. But we have joined a team in the 3rd division of Belgium, the first national amateur division. I believe this is the lowest level you can get in the traditional base game of Football Manager. And KVK Tienen are the worst team at 250 to 1. Alongside that, we are £145,000 over budget in the transfer budget and £419,000 in debt, with a £55 scouting budget deficit. And this is not a team that is necessarily in a great spot. However, it is a much more reputable team at 2 stars, which is a full star more than Cardiff Met Uni and a half a star higher than where we were, with adequate youth facilities, below average training facilities. It's 100% a step up, in my opinion. And a good career here within KVK Tienen could 100% lead to a much higher growth as a manager. The truth is, at Wales, you're most likely to only stay within that nation of reputation. You're going to grow and only be famous there. In order to get higher and get outside of the world of outside of the world of Wales, you'd need to do well in Europe, and we all knew that was never going to happen. And considering the fact that we weren't going to be able to compete with the New Saints, we saw that very obviously. That's why we left, and now we're here with 2 leagues we could try and improve up from. Any sort of consistent success, we can expect job offers to come from around the world of Belgium. But we have signed some players, a few others have left. And what is the team looking like? Well, we are no longer utilising the 4-3-3 that became so synonymous with us in Wales. Instead, we have moved back to a more traditional 4-4-2. Just realised this actually can be changed around a little bit more. Yes, we have signed a few players, but there's no point necessarily showing you who's signed. but as in who is actually our starting 11, and we will get to know some of these bench players throughout the course of this season. Our goalkeeper, Miguel Santos Pravos, was actually one of our signings, and as you can see, he's very, very good. At 34 years old last year, had a superb season for RCS Branois, and the year before, continually, another good year. It is in the second amateur division, but you can't complain all too much. Sorry, they're actually in the third division. So hopefully he is going to be okay making that step off. But immediately you can see there's a huge improvement in these abilities to the point where we have actually improved the average, good and excellent attributes by a +2. On the left hand side, Don Materne, who wants to leave the club, is one of our key players. On £300 a week, he has been at KVK Tianjin for coming up on 8 years now. A 27-year-old veteran who is not amazing, but is still very solid player on that left hand side. On the right hand side, Lodewijk van Hecke, one of our signings again, fills in. He can play throughout the middle and on this right hand side. A versatile, smart, intelligent player with a lot of great physical attributes. Someone to definitely keep an eye out on, as I feel like this guy can really rise to the top of Belgian football. Sidney Carner, who I don't believe is related to Marco, who is one of my personal favourite players over in Belgium, is another one of our signings. He is a great player. Nan marking is his only poor attribute, and even still, it's very good. The positioning, aggression, decisions, and overall physical ability, alongside being 6'3" at 21 years old, you've got to expect this as another guy who is going to develop extremely well. Lucas Chantrain is one of our developed youngsters, having signed from Genk back in 2021. He is only 6 foot, but arguably one of our brightest pupils. Still, only 20 years old, is already on his way to 100 appearances for this side. And some of these stats are out of this world. He can play both on the right hand side and through the centre, and I do see his career eventually becoming a right back due to only being 6 foot. But for now, one of our absolute best players is a centre back. On our right we have Vincent De Vos, again 22 years old, already with 50 appearances under his belt at Tianjin, and another very versatile player. 5'9", can play all across that right hand side, is also very comfortable in the centre. Great decisions, again mentally superb, some very good player traits, and someone who definitely we should be keeping an eye out on, as I think he can develop into a bit of a hidden gem. Pavel Karimov is one of my star students, currently playing as a box-to-box midfielder, preferable to be a ball-winning midfielder. 18 years old, only 5'6", but some very good attributes that can definitely improve over the years, though he is one of the first players we've seen who is certainly changeable. Reinbold, Mathis Reinbold at that, is another very good player. Much more defensively solid, it must be said. And again, only 20 years old. This team is a young squad looking to grow, and that is perhaps our best way we're going to make money. On the left hand side, Amadou Diallo is a very, very exciting player. Great crossing, dribbling, finishing, but 15 first touch is unbelievable. Amazing pace, aggression, flair, everything apart from vision is to be admired. An amazing left winger, and I am very excited to see what he achieves over this coming year. Up front, Camille Pierre is extremely good. Perhaps our answer to the story we had over in Wales of young teenage striker revelations. Already started making appearances last season, where he would have 17 total appearances, 9 of which were starts. Only the 1 goal and a 6.5 average rating, but hopefully under our tutelage, he can become a key cog in our system. And last but not least, Zakaria Ateri, our most recent signing, is a star-studded striker. Has barely scored and hasn't played all too much football as of the last few years, but has pretty consistently been involved in the higher echelons of Belgian football. And with these stats at 23 years old, alongside being 6'4", he is certainly nothing to scoff at, and I'm extremely excited to have him in the squad. There is some other very exciting youngsters who we haven't even seen yet. Wout van Aert is over there as an all-round wide player. Michael Asamoah as a young right-back at 16 years old. Brian Yazzie, another 16-year-old midfielder stroke striker. We also have Jeroen Martens, a young 17-year-old left winger. And Neil de Boll, another one of our signings at 22 years old. I mean, he looks about 12 there, but yeah, another decent, exciting young centre-back. In my opinion, this team is definitely a good side, but when you compare him to some of the key players I saw when I went through this, you realise how far off of the chase we are. For example, over at Lier's K, Edeka Kanzi is unbelievable, million times higher than any of our players, and getting paid more than all of them combined. We also have someone like Livio Miltz, who is only on £300 per week, but still unbelievably good. The main guy who surprised me though is Javi Duro. At 31 years old, 13 to 18 pace, 11 to 16 tackling, 6'1", unbelievable centre back, exactly what I'd kill for, and has played at some pretty decent levels over in Spain. So 100% we are on the back foot. Why did we join then? Well, the board were very, very in line with our philosophy. Developing players using the club's youth system and playing high-tempo pressing football. It is exactly what we were doing over in Wales, and in my opinion, it made complete sense. And akin to our time in Wales, we will be starting things out in a cup competition, the Croquis Cup. We start in the 4th round. That is out of 11 rounds altogether. So don't be expecting any trees to be pulled up. But our first game comes against a team called KFC, who were founded in 2005. So hopefully this is our opening victory to get us started. So Saint Coulomons is out suspended, a very good player, but we have some very good players as backups. Brian Yazzie is going to be the first of those options as we head into our first game in a brand new country for KVK Tienen, and I'm very, very excited for this. What are your guys' opinions? Do you think I've made the right step? I've definitely put myself in an uncomfortable position. A semi-professional team who are dangerously in debt, and it's going to be difficult to bring them out of it. Again, £400,000 in debt, and the most you'll expect us to get for players, maybe 20 to 30 grand. So this is going to definitely be a long battle. But we've got to push, and I'm more than willing. This is the only type of thing we can do right now, is take a risk. Go with a team who are going to be a big test. And here is our first highlight. The 17-year-old hits the wrong side of the post there from just a few yards out. Big moment there for Camille Pierre, but maybe just a little bit of that young lack of composure. Coming up on 10 minutes in here, we're doing well without necessarily putting too much pressure on their goalkeeper. Only the one shot on target, but 0.65 expected goals. Corner, that's a very sensible header back to Santos Bravos. as we look to try and play a more controlling style of football, but that is a poor pass. Mortarzik over the top. Santos Bravos dad, but didn't have to in the end. Mambarts forward, and that is smartly left there for Santos Bravos. And this is where I want to see that slow, controlling, smart football, which I think we can play. We have a very technically strong squad here. And it is Karner on the ball. Karimov, Van Heck, De Vos, Van Heck once more. All the way back to Karner. Van Heck, inverting exactly what I wanted him to. Van Jallo, Materne on the overlap. Has to put it across him. We've got a very tall front line, and it is Camille Pierre, but he's offside. The 17-year-old in and around the danger with his second big chance on goal. And it is narrow, but it is sadly offside. But that is very good to see the 17-year-old involved in both of our highlights today. Hopefully he can get on the score sheet and try and raise that morale. He can have big morale and training well, getting constant game time. I can see him being a real force. Van Heck finds a Thierry, and he is through on goal, and it's a great save by Mombert. 3 big highlights there. Neither striker taking their shots right now. That is going to have to change. As a Thierry at the back post, headed up by De Kort. Cleared only as far as Van Heck. Materne. Nothing comes of it. Mambe. That's a good header by Karner. Atiri. Karimov. Okay, this can be something. Jallo, Materne, across, and it is a debut goal for Zakaria Atiri. 1-0, 31 minutes in, and finally we have been able to break down KFC. Owen Kosler maybe feeling a little bit comfortable seeing some familiar faces and familiar names. I did have a look at maybe bringing Elliot Evans into this side as a potential coach, but he wanted a lot of money and to be a very important player for this team, and he shouldn't be. He was 33-year-old coming out of, so he was slowly coming out of the starting lineup over at Cardiff. So he was never going to break into this side. Jallo on this left-hand side, pull it across, goes for goal himself, and that is sadly off target. But yeah, I'm very excited. I've never managed in the lower leagues of Belgium before. I've not really managed in the lower leagues of many countries, I will be honest. And I don't know all too much about Belgian football, but it is always very fun. A lot of focus, of course, on younger players. Jallo across, falls to Karner, no penalty given. Karimov goes for goal, and that is well over the bar. But yeah, Belgium, it's a very fascinating cultural setup, really. As a country, a lot of focus on youth development and kind of sticking by your guns, I've noticed, with a big sort of trade of power up at the top leagues. So yeah, I feel like this is as good a country as ever to really try and bare our teeth in European football and try to learn more. Karimov, and that is a wonderful goal for the young midfielder from the edge of the box. That is one of the reasons you want to play him as a box-to-box midfielder. That's his second or third time having a pop at goal, and that is an incredible shot. Jallo gets the assist, and what a goal that is. Montbert with a touch, but only makes it look better. And yet the team's playing well. It's also exciting being able to utilize different ideas and tactical ideology and philosophy, which you do want to do when you go to different countries and different leagues. You cannot stay with what worked in a different league because it's just so different. Anyway, it's time to make some changes, and that will be Di Materne off for Salim Gielan, who is a predominantly right-sided player, but he's going to play on the left because otherwise I basically can't risk Darmaterne. He's our only traditional left back. And alongside that, Noah Lucabario is going to come on in the left hand side role. He is a backup centre back stroke left back. Brought in on loan. And so he's kind of like the backup to the backup in a few different roles. Jallo here on his left hand side. Atiri, good clearance. Let's not do anything silly. Okay, we force a very stupid clearance there, and we are able to control this game again. Atiri gonna drive, loses the ball, but I like that idea there of just driving at them, forcing them to make a decision, and the fact that it's allowed us to keep control is very good. Luca Barrio, big ball over the top, and Atiri does collect onto it, could pull it across, and it deflects into the arms of Montpellier and around the corner for a corner kick. Jallo takes this one in. Over the top of him for Ryan Balls. Collected by Montpellier. Obviously, I understand there are going to be some pronunciation issues. With that being said, I try. And I don't feel like it's going to be... I don't expect many people to know better. I do apologise. I understand I put quite a big accent on when talking about foreign names. I can understand that being frustrating. I don't know how to do it any other way. It just comes from the territory of... I watch a lot of foreign football in their language, especially our Spanish, and it just kind of passes on. Divorce, and it's 3-0 as I'm too busy talking about my own voice. He started off as a right back in this team before a few transfers, so I'm glad he's actually getting on the score sheet and proving me right. He is, however, under a promise of playing in a central midfield role, so I'm not sure about that. I'd like to make a change or two, I'm just not all too sure what to do. I think Brian Yazzie can come on for Pavel Karimov, who's had a good game, and your Jacobs on for Amadou Jallo. It is still 5 substitutes from a possible 7, which I do like. And I'm going to bring nobody off. The game is over. A 3-0 victory for us in our debut game. Goals from Atiri, Karimov, and somebody else. Do you remember who it was off? Oh, I do. It was the right winger. Just before we leave, I'd like to show you a couple of our failed signings so you can see that I did go through agony up until this episode. It was painful. There were some players who I went to sign who, if we'd have brought in, I think we could honestly push for some very, very high goals. As we have, the next game is the 5th round. That is frustrating and awkward. Okay. Quickly, of course, I keep them on the shortlist, and none of them are interest anymore. Here are the 5 main options. Our first player we went in for was Marley Felix. Look how good this guy is. Has gone to Eupen in the league above us. No, in 2 leagues above us. He has joined, and he is under the fringe contract, but he's still likely to play football. I was very excited when we nearly got him. Our other centre-back option alongside him was Martin Samson, who has gone to Mechelen, who are, of course, they're in our league now. They've had a bit of a fall from grace. Wow. I feel like I must have something mixed up here. I am them being a much bigger team than they are. But yeah, Martin Samson, again, another very good centre-back. But now, so Marley Felix, I think, would have changed this. Martin Samson was alright. Jordan Darcy is unbelievable. Just what a player. Imagine if we'd have had him. Him and Marley Felix, we would be incredible. Alongside him, this guy, Matisse Doyes, has gone to the same team, Udinese. Oh my god. When he popped up, I did everything in my power to bring him into my team. You know, I'm a stickler for a deep line playmaker. He is so good. I will play him constantly everywhere. And last but not least, Michael Lallemand. Just a very good striker, but nothing came of it. However, before we leave, there is one player I think maybe we should think about bringing in, which is Joe Andrews. 19 years old, 6'2". We know how good he is, and we're talking about a very good midfielder here. Oh my god, he wants a grand. He's getting paid nothing, and he wants a grand. Bloody hell. Maybe we bring in like Alan Williams. He's a goalkeeping coach now. No, obviously, I know that's someone else. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be bringing any Welsh players over. I think the idea is to stick with the quality we have within Belgium and try and develop Belgian players who are going to be more willing to join. But that is all for this episode. I'm not sure when we'll be back, but when we are, just know I'm very excited. I think we're going to have a decent season here. Of course, I don't know. I've not played against any of these teams before. But I'll see you all soon. And bye-bye.